from the government, and I'm here to help.
Take a look, it's in a book.
Some members of the community use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda.
Let's watch. Figure it out.
Welcome back, everybody. It is another hot-ass episode of We Figured It Out. I'm your boy, Michael.
And I'm Matt.
And I meant hot as in Matt's got his hair combed to the side a little bit, and it's fucking 90 degrees outside here. Actually, today it's only been like 65.
Dude, it was kind of nice the last couple of days, dude. I hung out in my car and did like insurance stuff yesterday for a while.
Hung out in your... That's not a... Don't leave anybody in a locked car with the windows up, folks.
Yeah.
That's a PSA right now. Matt's an adult.
Yep. I definitely didn't have the windows up. Just, windows down, just sitting there figuring out my freaking insurance.
They said
you have to talk to people that English is definitely a second language kind of stuff all the time. Every corporation anymore,
Their first name is American. Everything else about them is not.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yep. Got to save those jobs though. Every time.
I don't understand how you can't. Is it like really that much cheaper to make a fucking phone call from India than it is America? It can't be.
You wouldn't think, but the labor.
Also, while we're in this, let me ask this question. How is it that it costs me no money to bust out my cell phone and call like Apple fucking helpline or somewhere for help, and it's goddamn India that answers? But
they can
if
spam
like I want to
crazy,
if I want to call my dad in Panama, it's fucking $4 a minute or some shit. It's like, well, does it cost money or not?
right?
Clearly, we're just fucking robocalling.
But like, okay, like at least we have internet now, which is kind of an interesting thing in itself.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we'd be burying that in the ocean, dude. That's how the world's connected. See, they try to tell you it's satellites and all that, but why are we running all the fiber optics underground?
and underwater,
there couldn't be a satellite up there. Where's the fucking wire running to the satellite, right? Something at the beginning needs, and I'm an electrician, that's how I know, right? The beginning needs a wire somewhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing is like they can afford to spam call people and like scam people and stuff, dude. Like they can afford the loss of multiple dudes in a call center trying to scam people out of money.
That's because
you get one sucker every like 300. That ain't a bad day.
It costs $4 American to live in their country. They get one spam call and get a sucker for $300. It just made everybody's month. All 30 of them. They just made $10 today off of me. No, I don't turn that shit in. I know better than that. We all do. I feel like I don't even understand how that's still a thing in this generation, right? It's the fucking old people biting. Because I'm not. Nobody my age is biting on that shit either.
Well, I question everything.
I know some people that I'm like, you probably give them your social security number.
Yeah, dude, and like it's kind of scary, like how they're like getting people to like say hello, even. Because if you say hello, like people, they can call your family and like
it
use
comes
your
from
voice.
a fucking area code. It looks like it's right up the street. Yeah. Right. Like,
hi, this is Dean. Like bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit. And
Whatever
then they
you say,
don't answer. And then you can, dude, it's so weird too, because you try to answer these robocalls and they're still so robotic that there's still nobody to talk to. So it's like, why were you calling me?
Right?
Just to steal my voice, just to deep fake me? I mean, dude, that's what they do with Biden.
I started answering it in Spanish, so.
Now they got you they got two identities from you. You're scamming people all over the world. It's like how, I don't think Spanish is spoken a big part of the world, is it? It's probably a pretty big language.
Yeah. I mean, geez, dude, you get into South America, they're all like an offshoot of it, right?
Mm-hmm. everybody's like some street version, I guess you could say. That's
Mhm.
that's really the word we meant. Um, that all being
But like,
aside,
I noticed actually this week because there was a Cuban guy or Puerto Rican guy, one of those
okay,
tropical Mexican types.
yeah,
But
we
they
own one,
couldn't
we don't the other.
they they couldn't like a lot of the words I noticed they'd have to use an English word in there. So maybe that doesn't all exactly, you know,
Translate out the correct way.
which I don't even know.
I could,
But
I mean, you do talk to people though, and they like speak in their native tongue and then throw in some American words. Makes sense.
and
Speaking of Cuba, did you
American
see?
words, English words,
Well, I mean, there's English and then there's American English, right?
definitely.
Definitely. Yeah. There's a
See, and I think
redneck.
learning our language has like a lot of barriers. Like, why do we pairs things that aren't pairs? Like a pair of scissors, a pair of boxers. Like I get a pair of socks. That makes sense.
That makes sense.
But,
There's two of them. Yeah.
but then again, like Spanish, I don't know if it's a boy chair or girl chair,
The and the O. But it's supposed to be determined. See, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
It's determined by the word before it, but then the word before it has special circumstances too. It's like
Like
just
you ask them how they know, and it just sounds right. Like,
let's just all get on the same terms, right?
but like, let me go put my boxer on,
Yeah, that
go
sounds
grab
weird.
a boxer. Like,
Let me go put on my pair of sock.
yeah,
Not even a pair of socks. Just let me go put on my sock. That sounds perverted, doesn't
yeah, it does.
it? No longer sounds like it's dealing with feet. um, did you see Russia's nuclear submarine was right there off Cuba?
Oh yeah.
It's like 200 miles from America. We're like, come on, bro. Doesn't even look scary either.
Mm,
It just looks like a big, ugly hunk of metal. Doesn't even look tactical. You know, show us something
yeah,
scary.
yeah.
I was watching some interviews with Ukrainians that defected to Russia, and they were saying how there's this big push of like, how do I try to say this right? A big push of the how many letters can you have behind your name acronym system within the schools and governments happening.
Right.
And these old like Slavic guys are defecting, and because they don't believe in that shit, and they're saying it's like in the fucking libraries and in their 12-year-old classes and stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's what's in America too, dude. I get it.
Yeah.
I don't know why you go to war over that, but that's some of them guys, just speaking on that topic. Anyway, that's a wild fucking topic.
It is.
I feel like everybody's got their own reasons for everything though, right? There was a buddy who showed that to me. He's like, dude, I've been following this channel, and this guy goes in, it's like, oh, there was this fucking event that happened today, whichever side. Homeboy goes there right away, starts filming. And he's like, well, the news told you this. What's really happening here, And it's like, some of them, they're just eating ice cream. Like, oh, a big bomb went off here. And it's like, no, it didn't. maybe a fucking accident.
Right.
Speaking of big booms, I wanted to get in today of the old dinosaur age. What do you think about that? You think dinosaurs roamed this 100 million years ago? Well, like a huge period, isn't it?
Yeah, it would have to be long time.
It's like 400 to 60 million years ago.
Yeah.
400 million to like 60 million. That's a long time.
Hell yeah.
That's a huge number. And it's like, I want to get into, is there proof of that number? And is there actually proof of fucking what they try to give us as a dinosaur, right? Like, I get there's ancient iguana size stuff, or like, what a crocodile, or, getting into it, they say a fucking chicken, right, is a descendant of a dinosaur. It's like, okay,
directly to a T-Rex, right?
yeah. So it's like, I started to think, I'm like, well, chicken
My
ain't that
fear,
fucking scary.
but yeah, our fear of birds, though, dude.
People are scared, and they do say that is one of the only dinosaurs to survive the dinosaur era, right? Is birds. But I started thinking about this, and I was like, dude, if this fucking asteroid or meteor, what do you call it when it hits Earth?
And then, like, what were the? What? Well, I think that's asteroid. That's
Yeah.
it. It's a
Okay.
meteor when it hits
It's a
Earth, right?
meteor. Okay.
Yeah,
So the meteor. Anyway, continue with
I
what you're saying.
guess, but isn't it like a difference in size with that shit too? No, that's between a meteor and a comet, right?
No, yeah, I think you're right. Like a comet's in an atmosphere level, an asteroid is like in a different level, and a meteor
I thought that
impacts.
had to do with size or something.
I'm gonna be real honest. I got no fucking idea.
I don't know. Something we definitely should look into.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that, what were the birds doing? What were they eating? And what were the crocodiles and alligators doing?
Yeah,
Just chilling.
we're gonna get into that fucking lie, big dog, because that's what I'm saying. They try to say like this event happens and there was all this shit wrong, and then it's like it changed, and then it changed everybody's diet and their ability to eat things and find things and do things, and it's like we're gonna dive into it because the way they explain it happening, it's like it should be the other way of what they said. Like it should still be working just fine,
Right.
but yet we have zero of these animals, but we have all these other descendants of still animals that were there at the same fucking time too, right? So it's
Right.
like, well, how come some died and some didn't? And then they give you these reasons, and that's what I want to get into, where it's like that's ass backwards. So the first dinosaurs, right? Here's in 1677, they dug up like fossils. They didn't know they were fucking dinosaurs, right? Nobody, I mean, that wasn't a word invented yet.
Is
And
that in the Americas or in Africa?
nothing, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Nothing like that was ever found in Africa or anything like that. It's
How big are crocodiles?
yeah. So Robert Plot thinks it's giant fucking human bones, right? That's what he thinks he stumbles across. First, right off the bat, 1677. You think about old times, right? You think how we've talked about Nephilim and all that stuff and stories of giants and all this. It's like, well, is that the attribute, or did somebody else also know that there are fucking giants around and just we didn't in 1677? You know? I don't know. Robert Plot thought he dug up giant bones. Okay. I kind of tend to believe that maybe they're hiding the fact of giants too with these bones. I also kind of believe it's maybe just like a money grab thing. But anyway, he thinks they're giant fucking bones, right? And then because the word dinosaur isn't invented yet, nobody really knows. They're just like, fuck it, whatever. Time goes on. Okay. Giant bones. 1815, bones again are dug up that they do testing and it matches the old version, right? That's giant humans. And they come to a conclusion that it's a giant fucking lizard. And thus the lore of like, oh shit, something monster like an iguana. They call it the megalosaurus, right? That's how creative they megalosaurus. Even though dinosaur isn't invented yet, megalosaurus is. So saurus is still like the lizard word, right? It's Greek. It's lizard, terrible lizard, right? It's how everything fucking comes from these old bitches in cloaks. And where does that come from though, right? They're just like, you think they just made up that word?
I mean, Latin had to come from somewhere, though,
Right?
right? I mean, that's the thing. But like, dude, if you hear like languages that aren't Latin based,
Makes no sense.
it's you can't even like. There's no middle ground,
It's like,
Like at least with Spanish, if it's like past a certain date of invention, it's like it's the American word almost.
yeah. I like because it's exactly like you said. You could look back and that shit Latin and stuff like that breaks down is almost descriptive in the word itself of what it's talking about, you know?
Mhm.
So it makes sense. So when they say that word, I'm like, man, they're fucking calling this like a terrible lizard. You know, it's like, how big was this thing to be? And I want to know how big the fucking bone he found that he thought were giant humans. They believed the giants in the Bible because everybody in Bible time was like 5 foot tall. So they believe the giants were 8 to 11 feet. So I guess 11 feet tall, twice the size of you, right? Twice the size of me, twice the size of our fucking bones. It's a pretty big person.
Then again, like maybe the dinosaurs built the pyramids, bro. Wouldn't they
Dude,
get it done a lot easier?
there there is some lore to say that with carvings and things, you know, we're kind of jumping ahead here, but you know, could you tame a dinosaur?
Oh, yeah. If you
Anyway,
if you catch it as a hatchling, because
yeah,
it's just a baby bird.
yes, right.
Just
You
like
gotta.
a little chick, dude. You're like, oh, come here, little T-Rex.
Could you imagine having to bird feed that motherfucker when it's like 4 years old and it's a T-Rex head? You're like, you got to chew up the food and spit it into its mouth without it biting your head off.
Or like just grabbing off a hunk of tongue.
Right. You're like, dude, chill. Just open your mouth and wait for me. So before they knew it was a dinosaur, right? It was Megalosaurus, and they ran into more like big giant bones too that they started calling iguanodon, right? And both of these right off the bat, dude, just right off the bat, to me, that screams fucking made up, does it not? Megalosaurus, like, come on, you you're coming out. You mean to tell us all these scientific names of like, you know, theropod and Silosaurus and fucking Brontosaurus and Brachio and Paleo, and then you're like, no, no, Megalosaurus. Like, what?
See, and then like it's insane to me how they started going to like Latin, like doctors do. Like, why are you making it that level? You know,
Dude, just call it what you see it.
right?
Especially in the
And
1800s.
throwing out stupid spelling of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, let me just spell pneumonia real quick. Oh, yeah, just throw a P there for no freaking reason, right?
Absolutely. It's silent. Let me put letters in
And
here.
where is it ever silent anywhere else?
Right? Why does it need to be silent?
Like, I mean, except for like psychotic and all, like words like that. It's weird. Why? Why? It just doesn't need to be there.
It's weird though. They totally indoctrinated us to understand how to spell the silent letters though, even though we don't fucking need them.
Why
Like
don't we
pneumonia,
just
the
quit
N
learning
is the
that?
N without the P in front of it. No and no. We still roll with it though. Oh no, that needs if you don't put the P there, it's probably pneumonia. We don't know.
Because knife would change, right?
Right? We're just all of a sudden stupid. Niff? Is that Niff? It would happen.
But now the K is like now the K has to make the other word make it sound like why do we just make these things? No, like I know that, you know.
Complicated. This is what I tried to tell this to somebody the other day. I was like, dude, it's you have to question these things because they've always kind of not told you the truth or led you astray, not necessarily lied. And they were like, name one example. And I was like, dude, math is not the same as when you learned it right now. And they were like, I can't even talk to you if that's something you're going to say. And I'm like, dude, you literally have to be taught a different fucking way than when we were children right now. It's like, so why when I bring up something though that's questioned, it can't be like, oh, maybe in 5 years they'll find out they were fucking wrong, you know? But yeah, whatever. I'm crazy. It was a conversation too about like what could be at the center of the earth, right? Because they've dug like 10 miles, you know? And the earth is like 12,000 miles to the fucking center. So I'm like, dude, who's to say they don't get 100 miles in and there's something there we don't fucking know about?
Wasn't that what your homeboy that went to Antarctica Bird?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rear Admiral Bird.
Old Admiral. I mean, I wish he was my homeboy. I like to recognize him as my homeboy. He died. He died before I could even meet him. Well, the old man got him. back to dinosaurs though, right? So it's kind of silly, iguanodon and megalosaurus, right? I'm like, these aren't even fucking real dinosaur names. Fast forward from 1822, and the iguanodon first, that's important, right? It was found in a woman's fucking yard, okay? And that thing starts getting studied, and dude, it's this one fucking skeleton, right? In this woman's yard, the iguanodon. It's like, well, we've never found anything in the history of this before, right? We thought it was an old fucking giant human one other time or two other times. And now all of a sudden, we've got it in this woman's backyard. 1842 rolls around. Sir Richard Owens comes and studies that and coins dinosaur. Now there's a name for it. There's a whole like what do they call it? Taxonomy on it. Okay. It's a hierarchy in the level of living things. Okay. We've given it a fucking name. We found this other species, you know? So all of a sudden, dude, it leads to fucking what they call the Bone Wars. And during this time, Edward Cope and this other how the fuck Othane, I don't know, fucking old person name, right? Another guy, Othaniel Charles. Othaniel, I don't know. Anyway, he's another rich guy. Edward Cope's a rich guy. After these bones are fucking found, dude, they work with these guys and they start left and right, unearthing bones. Oh, we're finding deposits here in fucking Colorado. We're finding them in Wyoming. We're finding them in Nebraska, right? We live in Colorado. We know there's.
Did we never dig before that?
Dude, that's what they could tell. They
The
tell
Egyptians
you today.
were just like,
Yeah.
oh, there's some like, I mean, obviously they were digging, right? They were
Yeah.
quarrying.
Oh yeah. They were
very
quarrying.
effective.
They I mean, there were roads, there were aqueducts built, right? None of this shit was ever fucking dug up though. Because was it dinosaurs? Or was it dug up this whole time and it was something else though, right? That all of a sudden they're like, well, we're gonna coin dinosaur now. Right? Either way, there's a lot of different angles too, right?
See, does that go back like in like say Indian or like Chinese culture? Indian Chinese culture. Do they have dinosaurs?
So here I'm gonna ask you this, right? They have 12, we got the 12 months, they got 12 animals, right? On it. 11 of them are real. The 12th one is a dragon. Why put 11 real animals and the 12th be fake? Perhaps dragons aren't fake.
Either that or dinosaurs are real.
Right? But there's no, see, that's the crazy. It's hard to tell because dinosaur was never coined before anything, right? But you also weren't digging anything up.
But then again, China is like, where did dragon come from there?
It goes way further, right? All kinds. I got notes about this shit, bro. It's fucking old in this religion. And in there's like, I get it too, because there's Komodo dragons, right? And I said this before, and there's lizards and there's alligators and there's crocodiles. But they go, oh, these are forms of this, and we called it the iguanodon. But then they tell you birds are what survived, right? So it's like, well, what the fuck is a crocodile or a lizard or an iguanodon if the birds are what survived it? The mass. Okay, dude, this is even crazier, right? Okay, let's fucking dive into this right now. They tell you the birds survived this shit because they were toothless. They had beaks. So they were able to eat the vegetation, the berries, and the nuts by like cracking them open with their beak and stuff. Doesn't that sound ass backwards? You think if you had the teeth, you could still eat the same fucking shit as if a person who didn't have teeth.
But like it would also be your smaller animals though too. Like if you were, I mean, how many berries would you have to eat if you were the size of a freaking, a bus? That's a lot of freaking berries, bro.
Dude, that is a That's a very good point I have, right? If an elephant, right? How long do you think an elephant has to eat?
All day.
How many hours of the day? Let's look at this. How many? Oh, let's yeah, we'll find out this fucking
In
answer.
24 hours, I bet it's at least like, but let's say a third of the time at least. So 8 hours.
At least 8 hours. Okay. I'm gonna
That's
say at least 15. So how many hours a day does an elephant eat?
I am guessing low. I'm trying to price this right. This
80% of their day, they spend 16 to 18 hours feeding.
Ooh.
Right? Okay, so where
Is
I'm
that
getting
in
at with this,
captivity or is that
I mean, would it be in captivity?
because like I mean, if they're out in the wild, I feel like maybe you can't do 80%.
That's in the
You know,
wild.
okay.
That's where they could consume grasses, small plants, bushes, fruits, twigs, tree bark, and
So
root.
like, and I kind of got to think it's like I bet your zoo ones are lower because I mean you don't have to exert the energy to go
Yeah.
look for it, right?
Yeah, they're fucking not wandering
It's
all day.
coming to you.
I think the elephant needs to eat 18 hours because it needs to be able to walk for 18 hours to eat 18 hours, right? Now, here's the crazy. Okay, so think of 18 hours. How big was a brontosaurus compared to an elephant? Right? Because these were they say they were what? What's the word I'm thinking of? Herbivores. They ate plants, correct?
Right, and then you'd have like bigger even than them.
I'm going to share this to you
Carnivores,
right
right?
now. Yes. Well, they try to say none of the dinosaurs were carnivores now, but they portray this image of them like
Then why would he have sharp teeth?
exactly. So there's your elephant,
Right, he's just and this guy over here is just chewing on berries.
right? And this brontosaurus, that's I don't know, 5 elephants, can wander around all day and eat, even though it takes 18 hours of eating for an elephant. This
Does
guy
it look
can,
like next to a giraffe?
I don't know. I mean, the giraffe's not much bigger than an elephant, though. Just taller, right?
Probably be like up to his like back and tight.
Yeah. Dude. So you think of that size and you ask yourself, what were they eating? And was it 24/7?
And like, why do you need to be that tall? Were the trees really like? I mean, you're talking
Was
skyscrapers, right?
Devil's Tower in Wyoming, right? Was that a fucking tree? Did a dinosaur eat that shit?
And that was the only tree.
All these plateaus that people claim are like ancient fucking trees, right? If dinosaurs were real, you would need to have trees that fucking big just to produce the oxygen. And then they're going to eat that shit. You would think it would like disrupt breathing, right? And carbon output because this is just one fucking dinosaur, dude. If
And
they
then,
were
like,
roaming,
that's the thing too. Is like, dude, something has to be absorbing all their poo too, right? So I mean, because imagine, like, a house-sized poo comes down, right? That's gonna kill some vegetation, right?
they're, yeah.
I mean, the thing's pooping out elephants, bro.
Dude, think of the fucking like the fire that might accidentally start with that shit just burning. I didn't even think of that. They don't, yeah. Where's dinosaur shit? Is that a thing? Is dinosaur poop a fucking thing?
How did none of that like just fossilize or something? Maybe that's why we're not allowed in our Antarctica.
Let's look at this right now.
Dinosaur poo.
Is dinosaur poop real? I guess that would be the way to ask it. Coprolite. Oh shit, it's an actual rock.
Yeah, well, it would have to fossilize.
It's fossilized feces, and they're classified as trace fossils as opposed to body fossils. They give evidence of the animal's behavior.
And I would assume what they were eating, right?
Yeah, that's what it means by behavior. In this case, their diet. It's a Greek word for kopros, coprolite, meaning dung.
Dung.
Man, that's crazy. British fossil hunter Mary Anning noticed as early as 1824 that bezoar stones were often found in the abdominal region of ichthyosaur.
Yeah.
Ichthyosaur. There you go.
Dinosaur name.
Skeletons.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Not fucking Megasaurus. Come on, Power Rangers. That's all you fucking got. They're found in the formation at Lyme Regis. She also noted that if such stones were broken open, they often contained fossilized fish bones as scales, as well as sometimes bones from smaller dinosaurs. That's weird. Why would there be smaller dinosaurs in their poop if they were herbivores?
Because they were eating, their mouth was the size of elephant, basically.
Yeah, they didn't mean to. They're just picking anything up.
Yeah, yeah. It's like an ant to them.
I guess it says they were carnivorous dinosaurs too.
Yeah, of course there would have to be. But like, what would T-Rex eat, really? Like, he would have to eat like berries and like hit him with the tips of his teeth. Like, how's that work?
T-Rex couldn't have had teeth though, right? You would think T-Rex had to be the chicken bird one, like they're saying, because chickens survive today. So T-Rex probably was one of the beaked ones. They probably been see, bro. It doesn't make sense, right?
Doesn't.
How is it a big scary fucking dinosaur if it's the beaked, no teeth one that only eats berries? But dude, a bird that big would be pretty scary. That reminds me of like the Beetlejuice shit.
Right?
Speaking of which, I took my kids to a movie this weekend and we saw a preview for Beetlejuice 2. Looks pretty wild.
Oh yeah, we've been catching those.
Definitely checking that out.
See it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Another thing too that I thought was weird here was all of them that are on display, all these bones that they've quote unquote found. First of all, when the bone wars happened, right, between the 70s and 80s of 1800, these guys were like telling us that they were entire stegosaurus off of a one tooth they found. You know, we found one phalange. It's this entire fucking animal. And it's like, dude, with today's reconstruction, you see people that, like, in modern science, that need more than, one piece of the nose to reconstruct a whole face. How the fuck back then were you reconstructing a whole ass dinosaur?
It's true.
Maybe they were better back then. I don't know. It's a question, dude. I'm like, these dinosaurs seem okay. And then, so this Bone Wars happened, right? And they're fucking, one of them is like the president of the British National History Museum. And the other one is like the president of the fucking Oxford History Museum, So it's like, dude, we got two fucking warring labs here. These guys are looking for funding. They're digging up whatever, whenever, just like science fucking does. Archaeologists do. Throw it in and out and go, oh, well, wherever the money's at, I can find a bone there and tell you this is what it is. It's like, is that really what it is? They're just not, these two, and they've now come to find too, right? It's now known that a lot of their shit has been debunked. They were fucking canines and cats, dude, and things like raccoons and shit, right? When these forensic people came back, they're like, no. But quote unquote, it's a stegosaurus tooth, right? And now it's in a museum. They don't have any of these real objects in a museum though. They're all like resin, or China is very known in the counterfeit market for chicken bone fossil counterfeits. And they also build like resin fossils for fucking museums because the museum claims one, it's either too radioactive because it's sat in the ground for forever, right? Even though it's the fucking ground we're all standing on.
Right.
Yeah. And things are
That's
just
something that's kind of interesting because all of our stuff gets tested for teen worms, right? Which the ones out in the sun get more teen worms than the ones in the shade. That's about the difference.
really
Yeah,
what'll it
between
do
that
to
and
you?
oil
What'll it do to you? Give you the
over
shits?
time. Over time, maybe cure your cancers.
Give you superpowers the other way?
Yeah, and there's no teen worms really in the stuff we take, so,
Nope.
which is interesting. But that's below dinosaurs, so
Hmm.
actually there should be more down there because dude, think because didn't they say there's more vegetation down? Why is there more down?
I mean, it is pretty weird when you think about it
How
because,
did
like,
that much get covered? Like what, a mile underground?
yeah,
Like, yeah,
that's
that much
wild.
got covered.
So, how do they really fucking
How did
know,
it get
right? How
covered?
do you fucking know? Yeah,
How did it get covered?
exactly. It's like, was there that much wind? What did it uncover to cover that then?
And I got to thinking, like, dude, we are putting down, like, just putting down, let alone pulling up. But like, I mean, I guess it's kind of a cycle in that. But like, multiple, like barrels, like millions upon millions of barrels of water.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I can't even like
And
how many swimming pools that is. It's insane.
how many
It's
dinosaurs have you
insane.
guys sucked up?
And so you think you'd catch a bone every once in a while, right?
I mean, we're in dude,
But then
these,
again, like I don't question like some of the things I find either. Like
yeah,
there's some
these,
nasty stuff that comes out of those trucks, dude.
these paleontologists claim that you could fucking find a bone anywhere, any waterbed, right? Basically in Colorado. But it's like, is there? Because that's what they claim oil is too, dinosaur fuel, right? And is that just another ploy to be like, well, to keep the fucking fossil fuel lie going, we need to tell people this lie of these crazy dinosaurs that were only here for 300 million years and they got wiped out. And it was just this one Paleocretaceous era or whatever it's called. And everything from that time period is finite.
Right.
Or is it just like you told us everything else in life? We all came from this fucking planet and it's all fucking carbon and it's all making it right back in. It's
Right.
pressure. They make that shit at the bottom of the ocean floor, I was hearing. Oil. Just drilling it out the bottom of the ocean floor like it's fucking unlimited.
And so you think you're throwing enough water back into it, right? Underground with pressure. Like, I mean, essentially we should be making it, right?
100%. You have to be. It's just,
But I mean, I guess it's vegetation, right?
how was it created before?
I mean, there had to be a shit ton before then, right? I mean,
The
if it's
cataclysm? If it truly is the dinosaurs, there was no oil before the dinosaurs?
see, that's my question too. Or is there an inner earth?
It's in the earth, right? You've gone 10 miles fucking down. How the fuck are you going to tell me? Right? And every time we go down deep anywhere on the earth, there's fucking oil.
And then both sides decide not to test their shit down there.
Dude, people are lying.
Weird.
You have to, or they're trying to push that same agenda, right? We're like, oh, we've got this big, crazy old fucking earth and it's all spinning and we've had this big old cataclysm event and it wiped out the dinosaurs. And it's like, well, how come nothing's ever hit the planet Earth again then?
And see, there's like been so many different theories that even on how that happened, you know, like it goes like volcanoes, meteors, um, geez, what else? I mean, geez,
Earthquakes.
can you imagine? They're probably eating themselves to death.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that option too, because I mean, look at the size of the things. Of course, they're like, you're gonna die if you're that big, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Eventually,
And that's how you
you're
end
gonna
up with the
run out
little
of fucking
chickens.
trees. Yeah, yeah, that are reduced down to eating the seeds of fucking trees, the grain, because their ancestors were eating entire massive trees. Come on.
That are
Ev-
apparently what, like 6 stories high
yeah, how does that?
at least.
When does evolution work that way? Right? Well, you're getting so much, you're getting such an abundance that we need to evolve to smaller.
And it's
That's not
crazy.
how
I
that
feel like
works.
somebody worked backwards off of what we already have and like just scaled it like like even bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Honey, I
Even like
Shrunk the Kids
why
style.
why are we like set on they were reptiles?
Yeah, exactly. Nobody knows what the fuck they're. You don't know what they fucking sounded like. We give them this big old roar, right? And it's like,
Right?
what if it was like a fucking
A kitten.
dove? Yeah, a
Yeah.
kitten. Right?
T-Rex like comes at you and like actually makes a chicken sound. You know?
Right? Yeah, dude. A fucking rooster.
Right? Instead of like the big old roar, it's just like
Oh, that'd be good, dude. That'd be good. I like to think of it as like robot chicken, just big, untouchable. All right, so they say right the bones are too radio. We got on a little side. It wasn't even a side tangent there. That was fucking all about it, right? They try to say they're too radioactive to handle to put in a museum.
but our oil isn't. It's cool.
Yeah, right? But our oil, which was made from these motherfuckers, isn't, right? No, spill that shit. That's black gold. Very good point, Matthew. I'm glad you followed along
It's
there.
interesting. It's interesting.
That's us figuring it out, folks. We're asking too many questions here. And they say if you don't buy, right, like Matt, if you're too smart to understand that well, oil comes from the ground and it's dinosaurs, how come it's not radioactive, right? They hit you with the other lie. Well, it's so fragile. When we found it, we don't want to damage it by moving it. They're very special and rare. Well, then how the fuck you get it out of there to make a cast to put it in the goddamn museum
And how do you know
anyways?
there's not another one under that one? And dude,
Like,
like they can find oil and like pinpoint it, like, hey, we're gonna drill these holes these different
Mhm.
ways and get all of
Sideways.
these, yeah, all of this oil in this area, right? Like they take like basic like seismic, little activity thingies and go
Yeah.
around thumping the ground and they can tell you what's under there. But yet they're not like guys, we just keep finding dinosaurs all fucking
Yeah.
over the place.
Ah, man, we got to go over here. There's another dinosaur. There's another dinosaur. Not once. Not fucking once. And then they go, show you these aerial views, dude. And we're just a fucking checkerboard of fracking out here, right?
And see, like people
Not
like
a
that are in
dinosaur in
big
sight.
cities, I don't think have seen some of this stuff. Like with all like, were you there in geez, it had to be like 2012, 2013, when they were doing all like the seismic testing in Greeley and they had like all those little yellow boxes like up and
Oh,
down the
yeah.
roads.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like no dinosaurs though, bro.
No, not one. We live in the most dinosaur state. We have literally Dinosaur Ridge, right? Which this is crazy too.
Well, the Egyptians were building stuff to make us question. Why not that?
It's yeah. Hey, it's a literal ridge, right? On the side, like steps almost in the mud or clay deposits that have fossilized footprints. Now, if I'm no smart man, I'm no scientist, right? I'm no fucking pottery expert. I'm no dinosaur expert. I'm no shoe salesman expert. We'll clear all the ifs, ands, and buts. But what I'm going to ask is,
No
how the
great, no
fuck?
ancient Indian tracker in your blood.
No. How the fuck, if these dinosaurs weren't the exact same width of every foot and the exact same foot stepping in the exact same spot every single time, how the fuck did them feet prints get fossilized in there? Wouldn't they wash away? wouldn't the next fucking dinosaur walk over it and mesh it all up? How did perfectly preserved footprints get stuck in there unless you just froze them in there?
Or is like a special clay or something.
Was it concrete? Yeah, what the fuck is that? But that, how does that make sense? They cross
and
over it.
and it didn't deteriorate over
Exactly.
time, you know?
It's soft enough to put a footprint in, but not
wet.
soft enough to like blow away or
and then it just dried in that amount of time, maybe,
and
then,
has turned into a
got
fossil.
covered by some whatever fell from the sky, right? I don't know, maybe, I guess.
Dude.
But
So
why do we have to go a mile down still to like? I mean, there's vegetation down. How was there like? From what I know from vegetation, it needs sunlight, no?
some, yeah. There's some that are like grow in the dark, right? Some grow underground, but they all have a top for photosynthesis.
Right.
That's a plant fucking food. Unless
They
they're
all
lying to
kinda
us.
have roots, right? I mean, they're like they're very tethered to the earth, right?
Mhm.
But
That's not radioactive.
no.
What? See, now here's what I want to know too. Where these dinosaur fossils are there crops above it? Because we have what's it called here? Rocky Flats, right?
Dude,
We
I
have the
mean,
Rocky Flats, which is all that nuclear waste runoff. So that's why they say like outskirts of Brighton and Commerce City are dog shit. You can't grow anything there, right? Because it's nuclear waste underneath. But dinosaur bones are radioactive? Come on. We're fucking literally running nuclear waste down from Golden into the earth below Colorado. You still want to move here, everybody?
dude, and that's the thing too, is like, I mean, I get there can be radiation down there, right?
Mm-hmm. Are they trying to? You think the radiation came from the meteor hitting?
I mean, what else would cause the radiation?
Nothing. It's fucking Earth. Right? Like you said, the oil and the vegetation grow from the fucking ground, and there's no radiation there.
Yeah.
Gold, we pull up gold. Is it radioactive? Something about dinosaur bones, right, are radioactive. I think dinosaurs, right? You have this ability in science to put out like your hypothesis and your idea, right? And with dinosaurs, you can put out this idea and then go find per se a fossil or a bone or whatever it is, and there's no proof to tell you that you were fucking wrong or different or it's this or that way. So they make up these obscene ideas with the goalpost set right within their hypothesis to keep the money coming in for these fucking natural history museums with these fake ass dinosaur bones. And that's the loophole on science, right? You could just be like, oh, I'm a scientist, I found this and it's a hypothesis, tell me I'm wrong. And you're like, I don't know, I can't fucking go dig up giant human bones,
Right?
and they're like, well, sure, go do it, prove me I'm wrong. And they don't fucking go nowhere, right? Nobody's ever dug them up except for these certain fucking people. There's been like 10 people to ever touch real fucking dinosaur bones.
Right.
Real, per se.
That's insane.
Yeah, dude. I bet you they're Freemasons or Nazis too. I didn't look that far, but it's always Freemasons or Nazis.
And speaking of which, right? Where did all of that go? Because I mean, Nazis stole everything.
Everything.
We fought, dude. We fought side by side with them to get their horses back
Yeah.
from Russia.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't. It doesn't make any sense, dude. And you know the way the things they were after, they were fucking taking radioactive dinosaur bones if that shit was real.
And what they like, I mean, they just hit a T-Rex and they're like what their basement, a Foot Locker, and their family's gonna find the T-Rex someday. Like, oh wow,
Yeah.
we disassembled it.
It's in some school in Austria. Fun
They
fact while
just-
you're on T-Rex in the bones, there has never been one complete dinosaur skeleton ever unearthed. Never.
So we're just guessing on 90, like probably most. Like,
Yes.
okay, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we found one of these things, and
Could all
So
be the same
there's-
fucking dinosaur. We don't know. Right? There could be one chicken. There could be one Rhode Island red that was just wandering around in Paleolithic eras.
and to think the Egyptians went through such like care to like embalm themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, shit. If you saw a dinosaur around, like you'd just be like, oh yeah, let's like you wouldn't think a skeleton would be good enough of you. You're like, no, just try to preserve me as a whole.
Yeah, you preserve. I'd be like, dude, we're saving this fucking. I'm mountain. We're taxidermying this fucking T-Rex.
I was like, dude, I'm imagining the Flintstones now for that kind of, you know, like
I watched a pastor's sermon on this. I can't remember what. I wish I could remember his name, and he was speaking on this very topic, and he brought up a good point that 300 years ago, Atlanta, Georgia, used to be inhabited by grizzly bears all over the place, right? Then people moved in, and what's not there anymore?
yeah,
Grizzly bears, right?
yeah.
Dinosaurs were around. Cavemen figured out how to hunt. What's not around anymore?
I mean, dude, you
Who
kill one
consumes more than
brontos, like, but you don't have like food preserved, so like you just had to kill a whole ass brontosaurus.
Who's to say we're preserving it at that point, bro? They're fucking huge, dangerous everywhere.
Unless
They're
we knew
eating
a
our
lot about
trees.
salt, and we knew about terrain, but
What if we were just fucking hunter
how did we
murderers?
figure-
Fuck hunter
dude, can you
gatherer.
imagine how many kids you'd have to just to figure out what you can and can't eat?
Dude, could you imagine like that's your initiation into manhood? Like all these other African tribes, you got to go kill a panther or a jaguar or something. You know, they're like, yeah, they what's the one with like the armor skin and the fucking ball spike ball
Oh.
tail, right? Like you got
Ankylosaurus.
yeah, go kill that
So you would
motherfucker. It's
smack
your
the shit out of
initiation.
your ankles. Ankylosaurus.
That's right.
That's his name.
That's your initiation in Neanderthal times
Why would you not write it?
because it had spikes on its back. I mean, you would think of a way. You would
Better
you would think-
handles.
yeah, you would think you would ride all of these dinosaurs, right?
Then like, okay, so they were part turtle too, and then like we just aren't giving turtles credit. We're like, oh yeah, well you kind of look like this guy, but yeah, fuck you, turtle.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, turtles are
You aren't an
hundreds of
ancient
years old.
creeple.
but
And
you're
they
not-
get hundreds of years old too.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
so
Who's to say they weren't
dinosaurs live
around?
that long? You know, that's kind of the thing. Like, how did you live that long and eat?
I tried to pick up a turtle one time. That was
Oh,
dude,
bad
it was
idea. Bad
heavy. It was probably 200 pounds too. I was like, I did not expect it to be
Yeah.
that heavy.
Dude, bye.
It's slow though. It was slow. It was all docile. It was at like a farm where they rehabilitated turtles. There were some in there that were probably as big as like a
Dude,
old
they get,
school
like, old
Volkswagen
as
Beetle.
Fuck. They
Yeah,
get-
300 years old were some of them.
Dude, that is insane. Like,
So
and
this
then you're not.
motherfucker
And
seen
then
some
you're like,
shit.
and you're like, oh yeah, but crocodiles and alligators.
Yeah, this turtle.
I feel like turtles get the you know they're what, the black sheep of the family. Like,
He was alive in the 1700s.
chickens
Yeah.
before turtles, dude. This is
At
freaking
least turtles
pigeons.
are still dangerous motherfuckers, right? Chickens are just these annoying little pieces of shit that we eat now.
Dude,
So you
like,
mean to
fly
tell me
towards
these
your face and
T-Rexes
stuff, you
evolved
know?
into a fucking nugget in McDonald's? Come on. Come on.
Had
It's
to.
part of the plan, dude. Part of the
How do we
plan.
know it didn't have feathers?
Yeah. You didn't. You don't know anything about them, dude. You don't know their weight. You don't know their I wrote that down. Their skin type, their sounds, all of that shit's guesses, right? It's all
They are like just
Hollywood.
taking extreme guesses on some of that because they're like, okay, well, they were a lot of herbivores, so they would have to eat a lot, right? So
Mhm.
they know that.
Yep.
So that therefore you have to make it so that that animal like is also very heat and cool, like
Mm-hmm.
mostly just set up for the heat because it's going to have to eat year round, every
Yep.
day, all day, and
It must be
maybe sleep for
lightweight.
an hour.
It must be giant but lightweight. So it's
And
feathers,
it's
not
taking out
fur.
trees, dude. Like an entire like tree at a time, you know?
Or giants. Or was it giants?
Could be
Biblical
giants.
giants. I think it was giants, dude. Um, the Rothschilds, right? They own all the fucking movie franchises that popularized dinosaurs too. That's a little fun note. Out of like 2,100 found fossils of actual dinosaurs, not just cephalopods or birds, or little other things like that. Zero, I already mentioned this, but zero complete. Not fucking one. So shooting in the dark, right? The in 1999, the Archaeoraptor was a bird with a dinosaur tail that was unearthed as a new fossil again in 1999,
How
bro.
is a dinosaur tail?
Yeah. A bird with a dino tail. It was fake. Came from China, right?
So
Every it's
they're crop circles, dude. They're crop circles.
the thing too is a lot of fossils you can buy out of China, right? They claim, "Oh, we're old. We've got all these dinosaur fossils," but yet China has like the strictest laws on digging up fucking fossils and selling that shit,
Dude, you
right?
can't even like dig up China. Like they
No,
apparently have like
that's death penalty shit, bro.
like they have like pyramids and shit there
But
that we can't even like
they're
investigate.
selling fossils of dinosaurs. No, it's fucking fake, right? Because you would be in trouble in China. It's another ruse. I wrote down this dinosaur too, right? The Nyasasaurus. Okay. 243 million years ago is when it lived. And then it was dead. There were 243 million years of other dinosaurs. Okay. We discovered this bitch in 1956. First time ever, but we know it was alive 243 plus million years ago. It's like, dude, come on. Right? That's forever ago, especially when you're not finding any complete fucking dinosaur anywhere. So you're just completely guessing that this one that you found in 56 was
Yeah,
fucking this dinosaur.
every culture, like or most cultures, like even in the Bible, there's dragons, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's dragons in Viking culture.
Yep.
There's Vikings in Asian culture. Like you're
Yep.
talking two very different places.
Oh yeah. The dude, you must have been able to see my notes because that's literally the next thing. There's dragons 34 different times in the Bible. It's mentioned. Ain't no dinosaur though, because they try to tell you dinosaur wasn't a word.
And
It's
how
like,
haven't we found a dinosaur fossil? Because
how,
China's sitting on them all?
yeah, they're,
They get all the dinosaurs?
they're all fucking dinosaurs or dragons, right? They're all fucking dragons or giants. I don't, they could be dinosaurs too. I want to reiterate that I don't think there wasn't like large evolved land mammals back then, right? What I don't think there were like these Jurassic Park motherfuckers, you know?
Right.
Speaking of Jurassic Park 2, Don Lesham, he was the paleontologist for Jurassic Park. He said there's no way ever you'd be digging up any of these dinosaur bones with how fragile they're supposed to be. And he's the motherfucker that they used for Jurassic Park to give the idea of these dinosaurs. He's like, dude, you're not taking that out of the ground. You
We
can't
should
see what it is.
re-envision Jurassic Park, but like with different sounds and different diets.
Dude, yeah, come on. You can't tell me all dinosaurs were in good shape. We've seen animals all over the place. There's the fucking fat ones. There's the ones. Where's the dinosaur with mange? Show me the one that's kind of haggard, right?
Right, make them all
Missing an eye and
furry.
shit.
Maybe actually T Rexes look kind of cute and cuddly. You know, I mean,
Maybe it's. Do you think they were like snakeskin, like they say, with feathers? I don't. How would you know? That's fucking weird.
I just don't see
For me to
how
think of the Earth back then is weird. Because to think of dinosaurs, you got to
because
like,
and don't reptiles like take very little like sustenance to stay alive because they don't use their own body heat, right? So
mm-hmm.
like they can eat one meal every. So like maybe that's where you do kind of catch an advantage as being an herbivore and like like a iguana essentially.
Are you
You
standing
know,
up for the dinosaur theory right now?
I'm
I mean,
standing
it's
up
fair. We're
for.
trying to figure it all out. It makes
I
sense.
mean, I'm just taking devil's advocate side on this one.
But I mean, it makes sense. But if an elephant has to eat 18
But
hours a
that's
day,
why you would have to. That's why you would have to make it a reptile because they couldn't do that as a mammal.
that's true.
That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. Like I'm not necessarily taking the side of dinosaurs, but the
It would
premise
make
that
sense
they
though,
why they would have to use a reptile, right?
right? It would make sense. Yeah. Because then they wouldn't, they'd just go lay on fucking rocks, and just get hot all day. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they lay down like horses do. And we just don't know it.
Can you imagine the energy it would take to get up if you were that big?
Dude, it's always baffled me, right? Because like you think about it and I'm like,
And then
okay,
do the little dinosaurs get you?
yeah, they're
They're
biting
like
at your feet. They're like little chihuahua.
you're
Get out
using
of
like
here.
your big old brontosaurus tail to like sling off velociraptors and stuff. Yeah,
Like a horsefly.
right. Just
It always got me. It's stuff that size, right? It's like I'm 230 pounds. Okay. I know I can sit down and my legs can stand up with 230 pounds. These fucking like people that weigh like 700 pounds and it's hard for them to walk. It's like, at what
that's
point
and
were you not
elephants
strong
have
enough?
like horrible feet. Like I mean, that's like if their feet like
How are you
have
not strong
issues,
enough walking around with that weight every day, though?
but like like if their feet get messed up, like they'll die on the spot. Like I mean, because you have to, they're never not on their feet, never.
That's true. If an elephant goes down, it ain't getting back up.
So like you're talking like as big as it was, dude, it would have to have even bigger feet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like it would have to support all of that weight.
Imagine the destruction of these dinosaurs just moving through, just blazing fucking paths, dude. Annihilating it, right? You would like, let alone what they're eating. They'd walk through everything else on their way to get there. Or like if another dinosaur's chasing them on the hunt, would that be
Right?
fucking like digging ditches while they're running? And you're that big to run? To run at that size?
Right?
The math ain't mathing in my
And
head.
they like have to give them all like a center of gravity, right?
Gravity's not real, but yeah,
Like, but essentially, like in how we relate it to,
yeah,
like, you
tipping
know,
over and shit like
yeah,
that.
right. So if I don't know, like, I just feel like some of them weren't set up proportional, right? Because like then you got like T Rexes and or Triceratops and stuff, where like
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't it be like you need a longer tail or bigger tail or
Yeah, the Ankylosaurus. How is it swinging that fucking ball tail without like whipping its body around? Like a 0 point turn.
let alone and then it has like I mean, how does that thing like pound for pound, man? It's got what these little tiny feet too. Like,
Yeah, dude,
what's it doing?
it's
Does it
top
like tuck
heavy.
them up? Like
It's top heavy. It's going down. Um, I wrote about because there are dragons in the Bible, right? The behemoth of Job. For anybody that's listening, there's Job 40, verse 15 through 19. He talks about like a fucking serpent, Leviathan, right? That he sees. And then Psalm 74 talks about a multi-head Leviathan, which is like the Bible's version of, I like to think, a dragon, right? It's in the like the Old Testament or the Jewish or Talmud, maybe the Talmud. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. But they have a Leviathan like deity god even. So there you go again. Fucking dragons. Um Goliath, right? I already talked about that, was fucking 8 to 12 foot tall. They would assume, and he was fighting when he fought David, who Bible people, they put around 5 feet tall at that time. So maybe these bones were these fucking giants. I also wrote down there was a coffin, the Og of Bashan, right? He was a leader then. His coffin, dude, that he's buried in, 12 feet fucking long. And they say he fills it end to end. Will we ever know? No, you can't fucking dig up somebody from dang old BC times.
Right?
Where's he even buried? Is he even still buried? He's probably radioactive. So tell us. He been down here too long.
And that's the thing, is like, where are all the people bones?
How come people aren't radioactive?
Good question.
What makes the dinosaur bone radioactive? That's what was driving me nuts. What was radioactive back then? There were no fucking nukes.
They got hit by a nuke, dude.
They did. Something.
Or maybe inner Earth is really radioactive or something. I don't know.
Maybe that's why a compass pulls that way.
And see, like, I don't know. The whole,
North is inner.
have you gone along like the rabbit trail of the volcano?
No. Well,
Okay.
for like dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Like that's
For
what
any
killed
of
them?
Yeah. If they existed.
Like like that's what the crater is, the TT crater or whatever. It's the fucking, it's a super volcano that blew. Fuck, that would make sense. Who's to say it wasn't? Where's the fucking meteor?
Like it hit
Volcano
and then
makes
just
more
disappeared
sense.
though, right?
Yeah. The dang old 9/11 terrorist
Or did it hit in
passport
the
survived.
ocean somewhere and then just made a tidal wave?
Well, what is it? It's in Arizona, or is it in New Mexico? It's in Arizona, right? No, Mexico.
And see, is that the only one?
You would think in the lifetime of our Earth, it wouldn't be.
And where'd it go? It just
And
like the
why?
dinosaur stayed, but the meteor gone.
How come if it's round and spinning, it's a straight impact? Or if it was a flat, right? How come it's round and spinning, but it's not, and there's no drag?
Right. It was just because it just caught gravity that fast, dude.
It's because it's flat.
Super magnetic, bro.
Yeah. Dude, imagine being the dinosaur. I fucking love those those little memes that were popular for a while there, and it was like the dinosaur. And they looked up at the sky and he was like, yo, shooting star. And the other one's like, hey, that's kind of close, huh?
Dude,
Like,
they say like in like North Dakota they uncovered a bunch of them where they were all looking up
how do they know that?
because like the position that they found them in, I guess.
The dinosaurs were looking up.
They were all looking up.
How do they not know? Like, if they died, they just didn't fall down.
So they were like standing up.
So it was just a flash event. Like they died
Like they
instantly.
got caught like under
Like
a current.
Pompeii status.
Like not Pompeii status, but more like oh, what's a good one? Haiti kind of event, you know,
Yeah, but
where you just
it,
get tsunami.
it didn't decimate them though. Like that would blow them apart. How are they stuck like that? Buried, I guess they're just encased. Okay, I see what you're saying.
And that's why you only have them in the mountains.
Yeah.
Like along the mountains and stuff at best, because they all got those are like the only ones that didn't get buried or something. I don't, why doesn't Europe have?
They say a lot of them are you can find on other planets. How do they know that? I don't know.
How many died just trying to walk into the ocean and get across it?
Right? How many got, dude, especially as big as they are, they got out into the fucking current, I bet, and was just
Woo. Oh,
see
okay.
ya.
But dinosaur, I can't swim, or maybe they can.
Well, there was fucking megalodon and shit in the ocean, right?
Maybe
Those
they
what were
kind of-
those dolphins with the spear noses and all those teeth back in the day?
Maybe we're looking at them wrong. Maybe they were like kind of fishy.
They say they were fish dinosaurs.
Which I mean,
How come they didn't survive?
what other advantage? Like, I mean, have you ever seen a lizard that doesn't like moisture? Like, I feel like they're pretty moisture creatures.
Salamanders, they say, are part of the dinosaur species that survived. So you hit it right on the head there, I feel like, because salamanders love fucking water.
Right? They live in.
But once again, tiny.
But I mean, there are desert reptiles too. Don't get me wrong. Sidewinders are freaking gross. It's
Yeah,
disgusting.
they're nasty. They're nasty.
I saw a baby one. They're kind of cute when they're little, though. They don't even go that far.
Right.
Except for I was scared as shit after I saw that.
I don't like snakes. I'm cool with lizards though.
Lizards, like as long as it has legs, we can be cool.
So a lot of dinosaur depiction too, here's where it gets a little weird, right? And now I know I was saying they're not real and all this stuff, but I still went out and found some stuff where it's like, I say they're not real, but why the fuck these people got pictures of dinosaurs? You know? Or stories or paintings. So the Bernafol cave, right? It's a Neanderthal cavern system. Here's your answer: in France. Okay. So over there in Europe, and it has drawings depicting mammoth fighting, like butting heads, versus
Like
a short arm theropod. So like a bipedal creature that is the think of like Mew from Pokemon. You know how his head, or like Vegeta. No, Frieza.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking, right? Frieza
like
with
predator
with
kind of.
that
you know?
hard dome head. You know,
Right.
that's the dinosaur I'm talking about.
Predator.
There's cave drawings of them like fighting mammoths, and this is a 600 or not 600, but this is a Neanderthal cave system, dude. So people, right? Fucking humans, Neanderthals, but still humans, were alive painting about these creatures in mammoth times. Now, we definitely know mammoth were alive with Neanderthal. Dinosaurs, we do not know. It's because we call them dinosaurs and we put this crazy fucking label and date on them.
And see, like, how did we go from lizard/chickens to mammoths and saber-tooths?
Yeah. Right? Then
It seems like an odd evolution leap if that's the way we're going.
it's completely it's a reptile to a fucking mammal, right?
Slash bird.
Or they were all alive at the same fucking time.
Amphibians popped in there somewhere.
Yep, fish around there somewhere. So in 600 BC, there's this area called the Ishtar Gates, right? And it's in Middle East, and it's like these painted glazed blue stones in front of these gates, and they were unearthed again in 1899, dug up. The depictions of the drawings of these have lions and like bulls on there, and then dragons right in the fucking middle too, and they look like brontosaurus type dragons almost, you know, or like Loch Ness monster, Nessie style,
Right.
drawn right on these same depictions, bro, with fucking bulls and lions. And it's like, well, those existed, so why the fuck are we drawing this too? If it didn't exist, it was 100 million years ago, right? Why are these people drawing them?
Multiple countries. Like
Yeah,
yellow,
multiple
black, and white.
countries. The I wanted to point out, a lot of people like to throw out the Ica stones in Peru, the Peruvian like round balls that have like depictions of dinosaurs with humans riding them and things like that. That shit's a hoax, right? A lot of people like to bring that up and go, oh yeah. I just want to throw it out there for anybody who was like, what about those stones? They're fake, right? The guy who found them even said, oh, I fucking made them. But is Nessie a plesiosaur, right? That was extinct 65.5 million supposed years ago. The long fucking
I don't believe in
brontosaurus
Nessie.
neck. You don't?
No.
I don't think there's anything there either. I
Dude,
don't.
we can detect a sub underwater.
Yes, yes. We would go put some
Been proven
equipment.
like yeah, we were sinking boats from like I mean it's happened.
Unless something's there and they just don't want you to have it, right? Which we're a conspiracy show, so we won't rule it out.
All right.
But
Can't roll everything.
I
I like to keep
believe,
an open mind.
yes, I agree with you though. We have fucking all kind. Drive a fish finder around on that damn lake for a day, right? You think fucking
Yet
go
not
catch
enough
it?
people have fished it yet to like, ever catch a sight of this creature.
Nope,
It just
never.
never comes to the surface. It knows better.
Maybe that's why the photos are always blurry though.
Maybe it is blurry. Ever think of that? Maybe Loch Ness is just blurry.
Maybe he's with the sad squatch. They're interdimensional.
Maybe he's blurry too.
That's pretty messed up. Yeah. Your people don't believe in you, and then when you can show yourself, you're just naturally blurry. So everybody's like, "Ah, it's a fucking hoax."
You're a hoax.
No matter what.
Nobody's gonna believe I saw Bigfoot now, you fuck.
Yeah. In Sumerian time, they have Ur, right? He was an ancient serpent who stole the goddess Urshkagal, which I don't fucking know anything about that, but I know Sumerians are the oldest, right? Like type of text that we have, and they're even writing about dragon slash snake slash dinosaur type thing. And then the Babylonian era, right? The Usmugal. It's a serpent monster. And I thought this was cool too, because it's also what the Babylonians used to refer to as their kings. And it was almost like a draconian description of like, draconian, like the draconian race, the reptilians, right? So like a reptile face, but like a lion style body almost, like furry manish. That's how these motherfuckers in Babylonian time describe their kings. Weird.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Walking dinosaurs or something. Okay. And then, as you've hit on already, Egypt. They huge into the serpent god, right? And Apep, which was Apophis, which is their god of like destruction and darkness. The everything opposite of light in the Egypt world was fucking a serpent. A dragon or a fucking dinosaur, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah.
And that was
So multiple cultures through history believe in dinosaurs.
dude. They believe in something, yeah, and they
And
don't.
where did that come from? Like,
Yeah, they don't
all
believe in
have
it being 100+
What
million
about
years
Native
ago.
Americans? How do they feel about this?
Native Americans,
They have the longest time on this continent.
it was more indigenous tribe shit than it was Native American, right? I couldn't find as much Native American stuff as I could like ancient indigenous Middle Eastern African tribe style. And then it was like, the draconian race, or the Dogons believe in like reptile shit too. And nothing, I couldn't find any really Indian stuff. They're just into the snakes. Snakes is the snakes. Ain't no dragon.
Maybe, and I kind of wonder, like, if there was a Garden of Eden,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't that have a lot of big trees?
Oh yeah.
Maybe they did exist with humans there for a minute.
The Garden of Eden's hard for me, right? Because when they ate from the tree and they ate the apple, they were no longer in the garden and the veil was removed, right? And they saw that they were unclothed and like for what it was around them. So for me, it's almost like, was Garden of Eden like a different dimension on Earth? And that's why when they ate the fruit, that they didn't have to leave anywhere, right? They didn't, when they were kicked out of the garden, they didn't fucking walk away. It just was their eyes
Yeah.
changed, right? And they saw it all differently. So in my head, it's like, I don't know if they were walking around that. The whole Garden of Eden thing to me in my head seems like it was like God playing, right? Like in heaven. Like you can see that with God, not on earth. I don't know. People say the Garden of Eden has some historical document on Earth, and I don't know. I don't know.
It's interesting because that would be like our first time, I guess, being here.
Mm-hmm. Well, is it? We could touch on that real quick. Because God created man, and then later he created Adam and Eve in the garden. And then, like when Cain was kicked out and wandering, he took a wife and he met all those other people outside of the Garden of Eden. Where'd all they come from?
It never says that they were the only.
Right. Also, though, like my grandma, she points out, oh, they lived 600-700 years back then. So who's to say at 50 they didn't knock up a kid, and then 600 years later, you know, there's all that shit fucking out there now. Touche.
It's interesting.
Right? It'd be fun.
And you would have to have a lot of kids to figure out what you can and can't eat.
Yeah, especially if that's the only way to figure out. Oh,
Right.
shit. Marv died. Good thing I
Can you
got
imagine
40
that's
more.
your only job? And like, I mean, you have to find new things to name, but that's your job all day, every day is to name things.
Mm-hmm. Or could you imagine if your job was like, you need to make sure your brother doesn't die when he tries this stuff? You're just like, man, that sucks. My brother's just barfing and shitting his pants all day, eating all this poison.
Maybe that's what we're tapping into with all our oil is the Garden of Eden now.
Hey, people treat it like that, huh? Like it came from there. Jeez. There's everything on this planet. You don't need to treat it like that. There's fucking dinosaur fuel.
Why is it a dinosaur? Why is it a dinosaur?
Know, man. It's hard for me to believe the dinosaur one when there's so many questions about it, and it just seems like
their vegetation's down, but they're just floated.
It's too easy to keep it fake and say science backs you because you can just find a simple bone and keep the funds rolling for dinosaur bones. You know? And then to be like, well, I'm a paleontologist. I know what this is. Did you see it? It's like, no, dude, what the fuck? You didn't let me on the land. You know?
Yeah. And see, I feel like we just start making up jobs too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
What do you want to do? I want to go look for dinosaur bones. How are you going to know where to look?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you when I find them. That's how that went. Well, I can tell you this is a dinosaur bone. Says who? Says me.
Because it's a bone and it's old.
Because I work at a natural history museum. And my parents were rich.
And you saw a dinosaur that one too?
Yeah. Yeah, right. That's exactly it. What do you think? You think dinosaurs are around?
Dinosaurs? No.
Do you think
Dragons,
the idea of
probably.
300 million years ago there were these other giant lizard? No.
Not that long.
If there was, I don't think they could tell us it was that long ago. There's no way they would know that.
And they get into their carbon dating and shit like that.
You can't carbon date bones. That's a fallacy of science because that's carbon breaks down. You're fucking lying, science.
Yeah, isn't that how everything works? Is when you turn back into carbon and break it down into your elements, basically.
Yep. That's how they do it. Except bones. Bones are manipulated by the elements, right? So you can't really carbon date them, they say. Anyways, folks, this is another wonderful episode. It was a fucking fabulous episode, I thought, of dinosaurs. And we figured it out. And I'm your boy, Michael.
And I'm Matt.
Join us for our next one.